everyone, and welcome back to the United Star. Manchester United have beaten Granada 2-0 away from home, and we've got those two away goals to take back to Manchester. Vishesh, I'm just going to ask your general views on the game today before I get into some of the pointed and detailed questions I have. What were your views, and how do you think United performed?
I think more than the game, the ref wanted to be the main man in this game. He was giving yellow cards left, right, and center, which were irrelevant and, made no sense. Personally, that penalty, when it happened, I was like, wait, what? How is that a penalty? It just seemed like a general push. But I expected this. I remember in the five match prediction, I'd expected us to seal the deal against them in the first leg. And I think a 2-0 is pretty comfortable when we look at things. I don't see us conceding three goals at Old Trafford to this side. That being said, it is football and anything can happen. But according to me, I think it's more or less sealed and we will be going to the next round. But from an overall performance, I'm not that happy.
Right. So, Vishesh, actually, this is what I was going to ask you. One of the things, obviously, I think the referee was, I don't know what he was thinking, and he just was doling out like yellow cards left, right, and center. And that Herrera, I think he's on loan from City. I think it sort of Pepe told him that foul as many players as you can, because every time he went in with a tackle, he was leaving something on the players, and he didn't seem to get he didn't get a yellow card in the entire game. And I don't see how that's fair. But Vishesh, my question is actually Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Scott McTominay all out. Do you see that as a potential problem, or do you see that as a welcomed rest for these players?
I mean, for Luke Shaw and Maguire, it's definitely a rest. McTominay, he's been rotated with Fred, so I would say that'll be a straight swap. Alex Telles instead of Luke Shaw. The issue would probably be centre back because Eric Bailly has COVID and he's still not back. And once he's back, you know how long it takes according to the rules and regulations. So you
Mm-hmm.
could probably see Tuanze be playing centre back instead because there is no one else in the club, which would be very interesting. It would be a Tuanze B Lindelof partnership. But yeah, it is rest given to Luke Shaw and Maguire for sure. I would have actually preferred if Rashford got a yellow or something like that, and he just misses one game because of uh, the state that he is in. I don't think that he is in that great a form. That being said, he did score another goal, so that's 20 for the season, which is amazing. I think if he scores four more, that would be his highest
Highest.
goal tally for a season, and there's a lot of the season remaining.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Vishesh, I think you made a valid point. I was just worried that you say that two goals is not something that we can concede, but with sort of Teles and possibly now Twanzebe playing in that defense, I wouldn't pass it. I wouldn't put past them to sort of concede a penalty or just a stupid set piece, and that leads to a goal. I wouldn't put it past them. And somehow, if miraculously Phil Jones can recover and start, that would be fantastic. But that's on a lighter note. Uh, you said that Vishesh, you weren't happy with the game. Why is that so? Why weren't you happy with the performance? What did you think was missing? Because in the first 15 minutes, I personally thought the only event that was of noting, or first 25 minutes, the only thing of note was sort of the streaker, I think.
Yeah, you know, to be honest, I think the first half, as you said, the first 15 minutes were more or less quite boring. I think if we look at the game as a whole, we may have had many shots on goal, but we only had one shot on target. I'm not counting the penalty. So that is crazy for a side with the players that we put out. And let's be honest, the second half was Granada's half. It wasn't our half. I mean, they had all the corners that they needed. They were putting the pressure. Their shots were directed to De Gea, not to either of the sides, which made it easier for the keeper. But I think when it came to a performance, none of the players should be happy with the way we performed. Yes, it was a very professional performance, but it wasn't what we expect from a side with the players that we have and the caliber that they can show.
Right. But Vishesh, I want to ask you two things before we wrap this up. First question: what is Harry Maguire's best position? Centre back, right wing, or centre forward? Because it seems like he can do it all. And second question: what is this sort of voodoo that Bruno Fernandes has on penalties? That it just if the keeper even gets two hands on it, somehow it goes in. If sometimes it's retaken two times, sometimes it's after the game is over, he gets to take one and he scores. So what is the thing with Bruno Fernandes and penalties?
So your first question, I just think we've had such a bad right wing in ages that Harry Maguire looks like a legend when he's playing on the right wing. But to be honest, I think Harry Maguire, centre back, jokes apart, I think he had a very good game. I think the defense had a very solid game. There's nothing that I can really pick out and be like, how dare they do that? Um, and when you talk about Bruno, I mean it's we got lucky. I mean that should have easily been saved. That was one of his worst penalties he would have probably taken in a United jersey. And if that was any other keeper, he would probably be collecting it, not even punching it on the side. So in that manner, I don't know. I think Bruno is off by miles in the last few months, including Rashford. They're getting the goals and assists, as you always mention. The stats are there, but the performances are missing. And if they require a few yellow cards to get a break, and Ole is not going to give them, I would take that.
Right. So of course, that's about it, guys. We've won 2-0. We take
But
a two
Asham,
goal.
I have a very interesting question. Like two
Yeah.
questions for you. Number one, what was your take on Greenwood's performance? Because I think he was another standout, putting a lot of energy
Yeah.
on
So
the
I think
field.
Greenwood looked up for this game. I think that goal has done a lot of confidence, has brought back a lot of confidence for him. I think he looked like I said, I think he's looked good in the last 2 or 3 games, if I'm being honest. And today as well, he looked up for it. I think he was one of our best players going forward, if not the best player going forward. But then again, the way Rashford took his goal, I think the way the first touch and then the way he sort of puts it into the bottom corner, I think that was fantastic as well. So obviously, I think Greenwood was good, but I think Rashford was good as well. So I think it's between both of them in terms of who was better. But yeah, I think Mason's getting back there, and if he can finish the season strongly, I think it'll do him good going into next season, and maybe he can make that centre forwards position his own.
I completely agree. And adding to that, with the way the lineups came out, I know we didn't discuss this and we didn't have a preview or anything of that sort. Is it more or less clear that De Gea and Henderson have swapped?
You could say so, because that's what I was going to end with. In fact, Vishesh, I think De Gea looked rusty today because, I mean, obviously he's not played any football in sort of, I think, 2 months now. I think it's almost. So he did look rusty today, but I think it would be a travesty if De Gea and Henderson have truly swapped places, because I think David De Gea has been perfectly fine this season. I think kept, he's been part of teams that have kept clean sheets against almost all of the big sides as well. So I think he's been fine. I think he's not been the De Gea, of course, that we'd seen in 17, 18 or 16, 17. But I think he's been a perfectly good goalkeeper, and I don't think he sort of deserves to be sort of shelved to sort of second choice. And we'll know soon enough over the weekend what is going to happen, because it's another big game against Tottenham. So we'll know soon enough what Ollie thinks, and I think the selection will make it clear. He doesn't need to say anything. If he selects Henderson, then I think things are clear there. But I do hope that De Gea starts, because I yet think that he is the best keeper at the club. So that's that, guys. We'll see you all for the Tottenham preview. Let's see what happens. That's, I think, as big a game as this was. And obviously, there's a lot riding on it. There's vengeance on our mind as well. But thanks, Vishesh. And thanks for watching, guys. Hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well. And Manchester United have beaten Granada 2-0. Vishesh thinks we've sealed the tie going into Old Trafford. I think that with two defenders missing, anything can happen. But hopefully, we go through and have another preview. Thank you.